gentlemen, I really do appreciate y'all joining us. Really excited to talk a little bit more about Henosis tigers. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I assumed it's like Genesis, but Henosis, is that right?
Yes, you are.
Boom! Look at me with my pronunciation skills. No, I'm really excited. But before we kind of jump into the tigers and the art and just what the project is overall, let's get a little bit more background on the two people I'm speaking with right now in charge of the project, or what your roles are with the project. Do you mind giving a little insight on what your role is and what kind of brought you to the Web3 space?
Yeah, sounds good. I'll get started. My name is Borja. We are a fully docs core team, so that's easy for me to say the name. And on Twitter, of course, it's Bor from the blog, giving a little gimmick to JLo over here. But yeah, I originally started working really in the corporate space. So I come from Marriott International, then I went to Booking.com, where I met my co-founder Gauthier, and now I work for the health tech company Philips, or Norelco, as it's known in the US. And yeah, one day, I started in crypto in 2017. And one day, Gauthier was like, "How much do you know about NFTs?" And I'm like, "Well, I am starting to get a little bit in this space." And he's like, "We got to meet, we got to do something." So that was really my first step into Web3. And ironically, then also I became quite fond of it. So as part of my Philips job, I am in the venture team, which leads our Web3 efforts. So we're exploring how we can use Web3, NFTs to create a community and memberships. So I started doing that really in the corporate space. And now I'll be leaving Philips to really focus on Henosis Tigers and Genius Labs.
Awesome. I guess that's on me then. So I'm Gauthier, I'm French. You can probably hear that though. I've been living in Amsterdam for the past 5 years now. Right after graduating, I actually came here to work at Booking.com, where I met Borja. And I then went working for Uber in strategy position here at the EMEA HQ for like 1 year and a half, basically. And yeah, like earlier this year, actually, like 1st of January even, that was kind of one of my New Year's Eve resolution. I started to look into NFTs, and like, yeah, before you know it, 1 week after, I called Bora and I said, okay, that's something is happening there. Like in a way, it was kind of late bull run already. But yeah, I immediately was kind of, I don't know, fascinated by all the possibilities, all the things you can do with that tech. And yeah, I actually left Uber myself, was actually May or June, 2022. And I've been working full time on Web3 since then, basically.
Excellent. And the capacity you guys are working on at these former places, are you guys devs? I know you mentioned you weren't a dev, Fripon, but were you a dev, sir?
No, yes and no. Actually, that's a funny thing. I started my career as a dev, in a way, for like 3 months, and I really loved it because I did a bit of a lot of online courses, and then I did like a coding bootcamp or whatever. So I started actually as a junior developer for like 2 to 3 months, and I really enjoyed that. But I was way too much into business and marketing as well, and I just realized that it will take me like up to 5 years to actually get to a point where you can basically take business decision and have an impact on the business. So I just kind of stopped being a developer at all, kind of went back into marketing, but always with like a tech acumen, obviously. So a lot of marketing automation, a lot of what we call growth marketing. So every time having my hands dirty, like in the in the dashboard we're doing, or the automation or whatever. So I actually worked in marketing and strategy and data analytics for the past 5 years in my career, but I always kept doing some things from the dev point of view. So I always, whether it's a side project, doing a small website or whatever, I always looked into that. That's why it's always a mix of both. And then with that, I was able to look upon our smart contract and everything. Like, obviously, our smart contract is pretty standard. Like, we're launching an art collection. So these kind of things is obviously actually something I can definitely manage. So it's a mix of yes and no. Not full-time, not professionally speaking, no. But as a hobby and as something I've been doing for the past 5 years, yes.
Excellent, awesome. I just always like to know like how technical of a background it is, or if two frat brothers just put their heads together and decided they wanted to do an NFT project. Obviously, I realized from the get go that's not you all, but always nice to ask the backgrounds of experience there. Well, we've learned a little bit about you guys and what kind of brought you to the Web3 space, but we have this project in front of us with some really sick art. Curious to get kind of an overview of what the scope of work here is with Henosis Tigers. Like what makes it different than other projects? Is it a fine art project specifically, or is there more to it than that? Just kind of give us a quick overview.
Yeah, I'll take that one, and I'll give a little bit more context about Genius Labs, which is basically the holding company that is launching Henosis Tigers. So I love art, and I have tons of friends that are artists. Some of them are quite successful, and I saw that there was this sort of common theme within artists that they're basically tech shy. So they're great artists, but when it comes to technology, they don't feel that confident. And when Web3 started picking up, NFTs started picking up, we identified that there was this gap where we had great artists in this world, but that they didn't have the technical knowledge or the community knowledge to bring it into the space. And that's really where Genius Labs started growing. So within Genius Labs, we have two pillars. One is the Art Lab, where we will launch physical artists and bring them into the Web3 space. And we have a second pillar, which is the Academy, which is basically we aim to make it a one-stop shop to, educate people about what Web3 are, the current trends, quick insights, and also bring experts and other Web3 artists to host conversations. So it's really an art space and with several collections that we aim to launch in the future, but also an academy where we aim to empower our holders and bring more into the space. And with Henosis Tigers, I think for us, there's several key attributes that make it distinct. And the first one is that this is a fine art collection from an established artist in the physical space. So we're not working with, let's say, a graphic designer or something. We're really working with someone that is well known out there to really bring that authentic art. So that for us is number one. The second one, which really relates, is that because we're bringing someone from outside, they don't know anything, which may be scary, but they don't know anything about the trends. Does it need to be a PFP? Do they need to have laser eyes? Nothing. So we guarantee that their art is going to be unbiased to what's happening in the space, and it's going to be authentic to who they are also and what they want to bring. And I think the third element really, which makes the team in itself quite unique, is that we are all fully doxed. The core team is doxed. Every time we hired someone, we brought it up because we want to show that we're here to stay. And there's no better way to build trust with other projects, with artists, with the community as well, that you say, hey, this is who we are. You can go even to our website, see our LinkedIn profiles and everything. You can find me on YouTube for that matter as well, when I used to be a YouTuber back in the day. But that was the purpose, really, to distinguish ourselves through trust. So I would summarize it as we have the Art Lab and the Academy coming for Genius Labs. And when it comes to Henosis, which is one of the projects under Art Labs, is real, physical, well-known artists, no bias in what's happening in the Web3 space, and a fully doxed core team.
Excellent. Okay. So there's two paths I want to go down here. One, I want to ask some questions just overall on your thoughts on the market and the space that you guys are entering in. But two, I want to make sure that we do talk about Henosis Tigers as a project too. So I'm pin marking my commentary for after we get a little bit further into their conversation. So just
perfect.
Remind me. So you mentioned Henosis Tigers is done by a well-known artist. Is he well-known? Obviously in the physical world, but what is he well-known for? Who is he, or who is it rather? Can you give us some details on that?
Yeah. So Albert Daula is the name of the artist. He's a Spanish artist originally from Barcelona, and he has been doing contemporary art with a lot of Greco and Roman inspired features. So he loves Greek mythology, and that's really what he brings into his art. And this has been very well perceived, and especially when social media started. It's something that really catches your eye. So the minute that it became more and more popular online, he became also bigger. Right now, his paintings, they go easily for 4 to 5 digits. So this is anything ranging from 4K to 15K range. So it is quite an established artist, and he has done already approximately a little bit over 300 pieces, which is a lot in his lifetime, since he's also a young artist, and sold to kind of A-list celebrities as well. We have, we're actually running a poll tomorrow about it, but we can give a little bit of the alpha here. But for instance, like Charlie Puth, the singer, also owns some of his art, and he's quite fond of it. Like if you follow him, he actually shares the art on TikTok and on Instagram on his stories quite often. So it is really that type of artist that right now we're working in. It is what we consider a rising star. He's established and rising, and we see that his art has the potential to increase in value even more in the future. And also, this is the first time that Albert Madala is venturing into a digital collection, which is with Henosis Tigers.
Excellent. Okay, so some big names in a rising star in the art world. Now, something you mentioned beforehand, and you mentioned as a bonus, and I'm sure it is, but I do want to ask a few more additional questions on it. You mentioned that they have no experience in the Web3 space, in the digital space, or the NFT space. Now, did they come to you, or did you search this person out themselves? I'm curious to know, like, if they were wanting, like seeing from the outside looking in, wanting to get involved, or did you guys say, hey, there are these things called NFTs, we can help you?
In this case, it's a mix of both. They wanted to get involved, and when we reached out to him, because I've been following him for a couple of years, I saw his growth, his trajectory, and also his art. I was like, wow, this is art that you could really translate very well into digital pieces, into the NFTs that we're seeing. So it was really first connecting with them. Are you interested? And they're like, yes, actually, we are aiming to start looking into it. And I was like, search no more. We're here. Let us guide you through. And we had a couple of first touch calls where we explain everything about Web3, answer their questions, and also sort of draw a bit of a roadmap of how he could enter into the space and what were going to be some like key moments that would make him be really not only an artist that comes and drops a collection and never appears again, but actually really add value to the Web3 space. I think art in itself already brings value into it, but how can he stay within it, and we highlighted the importance of the community, the importance of doing several activations, and continue adding value to the people that supported him. And they were very open about it as well. So in this case, it was a mix of both.
Excellent. I love to hear that. And you kind of hit the nail on the head on why I asked that, right? Too often do I feel like someone, sees this as just another way to quote unquote make money. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think all artists should be able to make money. I think the NFTs, especially early on, were like the best way that artists could, make money and still not sacrifice quality and things like that. So, but it's always nice to know that we have creators who aren't only interested in putting out a collection, but are interested in putting out a collection and continuing on with the space. So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you guys also reached out. What? And this is going to sound like a I'm putting you on the spot here. I swear it's not that way. Just the best way I can think of this question is, what makes you guys kind of experts on what good art and what bad art is? What are you guys looking for? Are you guys previous artists? Are you guys just connoisseurs of art, or do you guys have someone on your team who is, has a fine eye for this collaborations that you guys are looking for?
Yeah, so I think the best term here would be art connoisseurs. And as I tell people is, I've never studied art in itself, but I really love to feel art. And I go maybe once to twice a week to galleries to see them. Last week I was in Paris and in Amsterdam, and I also went to galleries, in Paris and London. And I was trying to find NFT galleries, but when I was there, they were closed, unfortunately. But I am very passionate about art. I would be the connecting dot with the artist. And in addition to that, I also have a very good friend that she's an art curator for one of the galleries here in Amsterdam. So we do have conversations with her once we identify an artist, for instance, for already second collections that we're looking into. I run it through her, get her insights, her input as well. So I would say that 80% falls on us, but then 20% we also consult with other people that they're experts in the field.
Excellent. Okay. So, with this project and with projects in general, whether it be an art project or, a PFP or whatever, the big question is, are there any utilities? And if there are, what are they? Can you explain, if there are any utilities to owning this art? Or should buyers really be interested in the art itself before anything else?
Yeah, so I'll because I'm talking a lot, I'll actually tell Gauthier to answer this one. But just before he gets started, I'm going to say that for us, one of the main utilities and one of the main things we wanted to bring to this space was art in itself, because no matter what happens, art has an intrinsic value forever. And that's what people say, like, oh, crisis and recession does not affect the art space because art's still there. And that was very important for us. I think there's great projects with very solid foundations where the utilities are the community and what they can give in, etc. And we also want to have that, but we also want to make sure that we bring art to the space. And we don't know what's going to happen, but imagine like in 10, 15 years, we're not here, but this art will still exist. So regardless of the utilities we keep adding, because we've built so much until today, we will mint and then we will continue building. But if one day for any reason we cannot build, art will persist there. But now I'll hand over to Gauthier so he can tell you a little bit more about the different utilities and things we're planning.
Thank you, Borja. I think, just to emphasize, obviously, I guess like 50% of our utilities is really art itself to begin with. And it's also important for us to have art-minded people because Henosis Tigers, again, is the first collection of Genius Labs, right? Our studio that will keep launching artists and basically keep doing things in the space, but it will always circle around art. So, like, again, we're not a gaming company. We're not, into any of that, which is fine. But obviously, for us, it's important to work with, art-minded people there. So that's why we don't try and push, things in the metaverse or whatever. It's not like we don't want to do that, but it's basically not our direction, basically. So yeah, like just to put an emphasis on 50% of our utilities are art-minded. And then, so we actually have the art lab in the academy. So the art lab, as Borja said, is going to focus on launching new artists in 2023, basically. So that's plain and simple. We're already looking into the new ones. And then we have the academy. So the academy, put simply, is just somewhat of a mission we have to make Web3 easy for holders and kind of empower them to navigate the space. So we do that through expert sessions with industry leaders and artists that we record on our Discord. So once we will have launched, obviously that will be token gated. We want to have somewhat of intimate sessions with industry leaders. So we already had some with, for example, 2.5 Intelligence CEO, which is like the major company when it comes to Discord bots. We also had one with Anna Jude, a very, very good artist who launched Scales recently. So yeah, just to give you examples there. But so we're going to have this kind of expert session that our holders can attend live and ask any question. They are later turned into podcasts. They get to have these kind of intimate sessions with them, ask any question. And of course, there is always like 10 minutes of record where they can ask more stuff, basically. So that's one thing. And we also have basically collaboration and partnership. So on collaboration, I guess it's a bit like what you're doing, guys. It's really curating giveaways with legit projects and, like not necessarily really hyped or whatever, but like projects that are attractive in our opinion. So it's really highly curated giveaways. I think our holders, actually all the listed people so far are very happy with these ones. Like we obviously had big names in the past, like Homa Games or whatever, but also like smaller ones, but really like Chrysalism, which I think is not that hyped yet, but it's a really, really interesting project to look into. Anyway, so yeah, we try to have like one giveaway per day, really curated with very legit projects. And we also have obviously partnerships. So yesterday, for example, we announced a partnership with WebAssy. So in 2023, our holders will be able to access WebAssy's platform for 3 months during Q1 23. And we actually have other partnerships to announce this week. But yeah, basically that's part of the empowerment utility from our academy. So to summarize, I know it's a bit long, but yeah, Art Lab, which is launching future collections, our holders will have access to these future collections in an anticipated access. And then the Academy, which is expert session with industry leaders, giveaways, partnerships, and yeah, that's about it actually.
Excellent. I keep saying excellent. I should stop saying excellent. It sounds very disingenuous. But no, that's great. I think from an art project, asking for utility is kind of silly, but when utility is delivered by an art project, it's fantastic. So it's not silly if it's being delivered. So I appreciate that info there. Now, my next question kind of relates to community and building a community around a fine art project. I feel like it's been a task that several, projects have attempted, and none can quite get the excitement level to where maybe the excitement level of art blocks, which has waned back and forth, over the course of the bull market and bear market. How do you guys hope to kind of capture the excitement of an NFT community that's really excited about the future of the project, but at the same time, still stay true to who you guys are as a project and a curation method?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I guess it's something we started to do already. Like we made a lot of choices which are actually even risk when you think about it. Our Discord, for example, is only open to all listed members. So like there are no kind of grinding of any sort there. We've worked a lot with our application system. So we always made sure to work with people that are a bit not casino minded, I would say. Obviously that comes with a lot less engagement because it's actually usually people that, like you and I just like collecting NFTs. They have their regular Discord, but they don't want to spend days, endlessly interacting with hundreds of Discord to try and chase whitelist spots. So I guess like the direction we're taking there is just, to your point, kind of staying true to who we are and kind of, I don't want to say hoping for the best, but like we do believe that if we stay true to who we are, people will just, come as it is and just buy into our project and appreciate being there, surrounded by people that are a bit art-minded, not necessarily casino-minded, and just, chat about NFTs and whether it's Henosis related or not, just enjoy being surrounded with people who think like them.
Got it. Okay. I like that. Because I think that, I've had interviews with projects that are mostly focused on art. And I always ask the question that I feel like they don't want to answer, because it's like, no, of course we do, but we also at the same time don't. And that question is, would you say that your project is more for holders than it is for speculators and quick flippers? Now, I realize that is a question that directly affects the pocketbook of the project, right? But overall, would you say that this is a project where the real value comes from, the people who really want to collect the art and really hold on to the art and value it?
At that point in time, I might surprise you, but at that point in time, I think we're becoming a good opportunity for flippers now. Because we did spend so much time in curating the people we let in. And, I know who we let in. So I know how many art-minded people we have. Like we also had collabs with, projects like Zeneca Academy, GM DAO, Scott's Bills Community, Midnight Labs. Like I don't want to name drop there, but obviously we've worked with a lot of art-minded communities, and we gave a lot of spots to to art-minded people. So I wouldn't expect these guys to necessarily meet and flip overnight, because lots of them actually gave us really positive feedback on the art itself, and like the utilities that come after are just like bonuses to them. So at that point in time, I will actually say that probably might be a good flip for flippers. But yeah, obviously, like our NFTs are actually tied to our, to Genius Labs, which is our studio, which is going to launch new collections. Again, as Boya said, we're fully docs. We're going to be in the space for a while. So yeah, I would personally hold it, because I think that's a very good entry point for a studio that will be there, in the coming years. But yeah, I guess we'll find out in 1 week, though.
I love that. I love the confidence that that you guys have curated a really great group of people to mint. So that's good confidence. I hope things follow through with that as well. So this is kind of the part of the interview where my questions are kind of winding down in terms of what I have to ask you, but I want to make sure that we don't gloss over anything that you're excited about that we haven't talked about. So is there anything about Henosis Tigers and maybe even the future of what you guys are doing that you're really excited about and really excited to share that we have not discussed yet?
Well, I think just to add on the utilities that Gauthier mentioned before, for sure we're also going to be working with Albert and add unique utilities related to him. So, like we're looking into special hand-drawn pieces that we can send to holders later on, or also hosting events where he will be joining face-to-face if it's possible with travel or whatever. But, there is still things that we're building specific to Albert Madaula, the artist behind Henosis Tigers. But I guess there's one big thing that we are announcing tomorrow. So this is the alpha for everyone joining here, and is that next Monday for 24 hours, we're going to auction one NFT, which will be tied to a physical painting that Albert will make. So during 24 hours, we will have a bid on OpenSea, and the winner of this bid will not only get the NFT, but it will actually get the physical painting framed and shipped to their preferred address. So this is going to be a very nice and unique option and moment, because also our art is generative art, where Albert has hand-drawn all the layers himself, etc. But this NFT, he has created himself from A to Z. It has been hand-drawn, it has been combined all the layers, and we will auction it, and then he will obviously paint it. And the frame is going to be, the canvas is going to be massive. It's going to be 1 meter by 1.20 meters. So whoever bids on it better have a nice empty wall to put it on. But yeah, this is the big alpha. Next Monday, there will be an auction of one NFT that will be attached to a physical painting. And then next Wednesday is when we will mint the remaining of the collection.
I love that. As someone with a new house and a lot of big empty walls, with my wife staring at me right now like, you are absolutely not buying more NFTs. I love the auction idea there. And are these profits going to be going to them, or is this for charity? I know a lot of projects are doing like a charity auction. I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, so the proceeds are going to be going to a charity. We're looking right now, we're speaking with a couple of them. Amongst them is Amnesty International, and then also Choose Love. So yeah, basically the proceeds we will donate to them. They're not going to go for Henosis Tigers or Genius Labs. This is an act in good faith, because also, and this is on our website, by the way. I'm not saying this right now to look good, but if you go to our website, Genius Labs, we have basically our values over there. And we always said that no impact, no glory. So we definitely want to have an impact and make a positive impact for holders, for partners, and really in the space. So that's basically how we aim to have an impact, by donating to charities that they're close to our heart. In this case, also, they're very tied with diversity and inclusion, which part of the team is considered the LGBT community, and the artist himself is part of the LGBT community. And not only that, but a small percentage of the proceeds of the revenue from the minting will also be donated afterwards. So we have ongoing idea to keep giving back to where we are, to our own communities, and helping out.
I've always said that this space is so hand in hand with profit and money making, and trying to squeeze every last penny, not necessarily from projects like you guys, but traders and things like that. There should really be a good focus on holders and mentors and projects giving back. So I really do appreciate that focus from you guys, because I think that's something very important and something projects should really continue to do more. I know a lot of them do that, but I think it should be ingrained in the project in itself. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you so much for the recognition as well. And it was a tricky thing, because it can come across like, oh, you're just doing it for the marketing or to look good or whatever. And that's one of the things that we're trying to still come up with, Choose Love or Amnesty International, is that we want to donate in ETH, so then the transaction can be recorded and people can see we actually donated this money, like we are doing what we said. But I guess it also comes with being docs, it's not that we're going to scam people and say we're donating and not really, because our names are really attached to it. But yeah, we really want to be able to give proof that this really happened. So thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah, and I'm sure someone over there knows, or there are a lot of great organizations in the Web3 space that are nonprofits that are specifically there to help make that bridge from Web3 to Web2. So there are a ton of hands out there. If you are looking for a way to verify those kinds of funds.
Yeah.
So again, I'm sure you're already on it, but
thank you.
Philanthropy and volunteering is something that has always been big to me anyway. So I've always been really, really interested to see the movement in the Web3 space kind of go over towards that. So anytime a project tells me that they're about that, it gets me excited for the future. So great.
Woohoo.
So that's kind of all I have, guys. I want to give you one last moment to kind of give us a pitch on why we should be interested, why we should get involved, why should we care about Henosis Tigers and the things that your all's labs are working on. So maybe kind of a summary of what we talked about, and then we'll get you guys out of here and you can enjoy some sleep on this Tuesday night of yours.
Yeah, I think I have so much adrenaline right now that I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. I'll definitely need to go to Headspace and do a meditation or something.
That's great.
But for me, the summary here would be, we are a fully docs team bringing an established physical artist with unique and authentic art into the space. We aim to empower our holders when you join us, and we aim to give back to the community to help people out there.
There you have it. For everyone listening to this later, I don't think they've been more clear with what their project is and what kind of benefits arise from investing in it. Other than, I really do implore you all to go to Henosis Tigers on Twitter, HENOSIS, like Genesis Tigers, and look at the art. I mean, we're talking about some really unique, really interesting looking art here from a well-known artist. So I really appreciate the conversation tonight, fellas, and I really do hope everything goes well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this mint here in a week.
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting us. You've been a great interviewer, and a blast to talk to you as well. And thank you everyone for joining.
Excellent. Have a great night. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.